Good evening, spooks. Welcome to my November TBR. But it's going to be a little bit different. So grab a warm drink, grab a hot drink, grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a glass of wine, grab your water, and grab a spoon, because we're about to mix things up in here. This is a coffee. Let me prove it to you. The evidence is there. It's a coffee. But it was a coffee in a bag. I was sent a sample and I just am not convinced. It looks grey, but I'm going to test it right now on camera with lip gloss on for the first time. You know, it's not bad. It's actually quite good. It's kind of strong. Anyway, let me tell you about how I am mixing up my TBR for winter. So if everything goes to plan and I don't get bored or change my mind, I will have a slightly different video for my November TBR, December TBR, and January TBR. Let me show you what it is. So ordinarily, I would play my TBR game. You've seen it all before. She's stunning and we love her deeply, but it's just not her month. I just want to mix things up a little bit. Let me show you. So this sweet little angel I have here is actually based on my spooky book bingo. This is my winter book bingo. I do have a spooky book bingo, but I have never played it. So we'll come back to that next year. Right now, it is winter book bingo's time. That's very hard to say. And here she is. So it will work exactly like a normal bingo board, except for I don't think I'm going to go diagonally. So here are all my prompts in picture form, no less. So if I complete a row or a column, then I will give myself £5 to spend on books. So it will work similar to my TBR game, but I have to just work my way through these prompts. So I've got 3 months to try and complete the board. It's not impossible. I don't like to set myself impossible tasks, but it is certainly a challenge. So some of these prompts I picked and I had books in mind for them, and some of them I have absolutely no idea. And then I randomized it on the board so I wouldn't be able to just pick and choose which line I wanted based on which books I wanted to read. So I'm going to let Past Jess take the wheel and go through each individual prompt separately, telling you exactly what it is, and then we can come back and we can pick some books to read in November. Okay. Here she is in the exact same style as my TBR game, but bow! It is an official bingo board, and for each line that I complete, I get £5 to spend on books, same as the columns, and I might... No. I was going to say maybe I'll let myself go, whatever that word is, diagonally, there it is, Diagon Alley. But actually I think no, I'm going to only go across and down. So let me run through the prompts. So this prompt means that the cover has to be blue. This means that there has to be snow on the cover, in the title, in the blurb on the back, anywhere included. Or frost, anything like that. I have a book in mind for that, that's why I am specifying I might mean frost. This one means it's been adapted into a TV show or a film. This one means that there is some semblance of magic within the story. This is short stories. This includes Mr. Father Christmas himself. This prompt is a one-word title. This is a book of poems. This is a dog, anywhere on the cover, title, blurb, anything. This one means any ghosts involved or spirits, apparitions, anything like that. This is a book set in a cold country. Very hard to find an image that works with that. This is a new release. This is a wild space, so I can do whatever I like there. So maybe it does need to be diagonal. I don't know, you know what, I'll figure it as I go, see how hard it gets. This one, as you can probably imagine, means that there are witches included. This is LGBTQ+. This is hot drinks, either title, cover, blurb, anywhere. This is BIPOC characters and or author. Again, like the dog one, this is cats anywhere on the cover, title, or in the blurb. This is 5+ words in the title. This is graphic novel, manga, manhwa, anything like that that's kind of like a comic. This is food anywhere on the title, cover, or blurb. Set in a manor house, which is obviously hard to prepare for, but once I finished, if it was set in a manor house or there's mention of a manor house, that's that bad boy. This one, again, very hard to find a picture, is for a book that I've been wanting to read or meaning to read all year. This is for non-fiction, you see, growth of brain, and this is a friend's recommendation. Okay, let's find some books. Welcome back. I wanted Did you just get a sneak peek? Don't look. I wanted to talk to you quickly about my September TBR game because I did complete it and I didn't mention it in my September wrap-up, but I probably should have done. So I'm mentioning it now. I completed my September game and I had £9 in the end to spend. And so I just wanted to tell you which book I bought because it will now feature within this video. Plot twist, it actually doesn't feature in this video at all because I've already started reading it. And the book is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by Who You By, John Wiswell. I'm reading a book by a man. Who is she? I'll tell you who she's not, John Wiswell. And I have already started reading it and this is glorious. There is no other word for it, it's glorious. I'm this far through and I feel like it's on track to be a 5-star. So buckle up, it's going in the bingo. That should be my new tagline. Wait, did I just lie to you? I just lied to you? And in the interest of being totally honest with you now, in hindsight, this is not the book I bought as a reward. This is a pre-order, and I forgot that I had pre-ordered it and it just turned up in the month and I assumed that's what it was, but it wasn't that. I spent £9 on She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark. That's the book that I used as a reward for my September TBR game. So maybe I accidentally rewarded myself with 2 books, but I'm being honest. I'm an honest cheat. I tell it to everybody, if you play a game with me, just know I'm cheating, but I'm going to be upfront about it. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm glad we know each other better. I mean, I don't know you. Are you a cheater? Do you cheat at games? If I see an opportunity, you can bet your butt I'm cheating. So now you've seen all the prompts, you've seen what I've spent my reward money on. Let me tell you about the books that I would like to read in November. Already, the month is slipping away from me and I am beginning to panic, but there's no pressure. This is going to be a relaxed winter TBR because there is no, you have to have read this many books by the end to complete it. I'm just going to vibe for 3 months, okay? So I would like to read 6 books this month. There is an additional 7th, which I'm not including officially, but if I can read it, then it would be great because I'm attending a book club at the end of the month and this is the book they're reading for it. They're also reading A Little Life, but I've already read that, so I'm so interested to see how the discussion is going to go because that is a heavy book. But anyway, I can't remember the title. Is the author called Lucy? Unsure. But you can see it because it's on the screen. If I read this book... Okay, you good? You done? You're just advertising. You crack on. If I can finish it in November in time for the book club, then that'll be an added bonus. But it's not included in my November TBR, but these books are. So first up, I couldn't not include it because it was my reward. I would like to read She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark. This is a collection of short stories, and I have not seen Eliza Clark do short stories before. She wrote Boy Parts, which I adored, and she's written Penance, which is... oh, here, there on the shelf. Haven't read it yet, but I will one day because, as you know, I have to read all of these books by the end of June, if not they get scrapped, and that book is signed with my name in it. So it's getting read at some point, it's just not high on my list because I don't think I'm going to like it. But that's not the point because I love Boy Parts and this is horror. This is short stories in the horror genre, and I know Eliza Clark can do disturbing and unhinged well because of Boy Parts. So I am very excited to read this and will definitely be picking this up in November. Now, prompt-wise, She's Always Hungry would fulfill food prompts, I guess, kind of, loosely. It would fulfill short story prompts, obviously. I do have a lot of short story collections on my shelf that I need to read. So I have The Winter Spirits, which naturally I would like to read over winter, and that is a collection of short stories. So maybe not that one, but there is a prompt for a new release, and this is brand new. I am obviously reading Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which is also a new release, but that's also got queer characters. So do you see where I'm going with this? Basically, some books will fulfill several prompts, but we don't have bonus cards in this game. So I have to pick 1 book per prompt. So I don't know yet which one it's going to fulfill, but I will let you know in my wrap up. So if I can manage to find some pocket of time in November, I would really like to read The Revels by Stacey Thomas. This has been on my shelf for a very long time. I met the author at an event in Norwich. I don't remember what event it was, when it was. I know it was last year. Was it 2022? No. Unsure. But I met the author, she seemed amazing, the book seems amazing, I can't wait to read it, and yet I have waited. Until now. I really would like to read this, if not in November then definitely over winter. No other than Jennifer Saint has written on the front of this book, darkly fascinating and spellbinding. I love Jennifer Saint. This is not a joke. So this is set in England in 1645. I believe it is witchy. I think that's why I was at the event. I think it's something witchy. There is witch hunting mentioned, so I'm hoping it's going to be, as Jennifer said, spellbinding. But it does say, in a country torn apart by civil war with escalating tensions between Catholics and Protestants, royalists and roundheads, and rumours of witchcraft, Nicholas hides a secret. The dead sing. He hears their secrets, but will he find the courage to speak up to save innocent lives, even if it means putting himself in great danger? So not only do I clearly have the hardback, but I also have the audiobook on BookBeat, so I could combo read this, and that's my favourite thing to do. Isn't there a proper word for that? Because I call it combo read every time. Is it immersive reading? Sure, I'm going to combo immersive, I don't know. So this one would fulfill the prompt witches, I imagine, but it would also fulfill the prompt at the bottom. I have the little New Year's Eve headband because it is a book that I've been wanting to read all year. And I think that would be the perfect fit for this one. How am I going to get this out? This one I am definitely going to read in November, and it is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz. And it is a stunner. She's pretty hefty. This is a tome, but this one would fulfill several prompts. It would fulfill a magic prompt. It would fulfill 5+ words in the title, the sun and the void. 5+, well, 5 or more. You with me? And if the internet is not lying to me, this would fulfill my LGBTQ+ prompt. We love to see it. I mean, do you ever expect anything less from Lumacrate? Oh my god! She's beautiful. Raina is desperate. Stuck living on the edges of society, her only salvation lies in an invitation from a grandmother she's never known. But the journey is dangerous, and prayer can't always avert disaster. Attacked by creatures that stalk the region, Raina is on the verge of death until her grandmother, a dark sorceress, intervenes. Yes! Baby, do I love a sorceress. Now dependent on the Donya's magic for her life, Raina will do anything to earn and keep her favour, even the bidding of an ancient god who whispers to her at night. I've never read this blurb. Maybe I did when I first got the book from Illumicrate, but I think this was an end of 2022 Illumicrate edition, maybe early 2023. Maybe looking at the last page, gosh. Again, I have this in literally every format you can possibly think of. I have the hardback physical copy. I also have the audiobook on BookBeat and also the ebook on BookBeat. So this is getting read. That's why I did try to get every version of it possible, because it's quite a big book. So I thought audiobook's perfect if I'm going for a walk. This is perfect if I'm at home. I can't really take it out with me. So ebook it is. I love different versions of books. So excited to read this one. 1 second, please. Now, if you watched my October wrap-up, you might be surprised to see this. But towards the end of November, I would actually quite like to read The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. And I read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore in October and rated it 2 stars. But I've got high hopes for this one because it's going to be a Christmas romance. What better to get me into the Christmas spirit at the end of November than a Christmas romance? So this is the 3rd book in the Dream Harbour series, and I think it follows, if you have read the first one, I think it follows the main character in the first book's brother who visits Dream Harbour on vacation to see his sister and falls in love with somebody who hates Christmas. I think she inherits a Christmas tree farm or something. It's just like Hallmark movie in a book, and I'm so excited. Even though the second one was disappointing and the first one wasn't great, still got high hopes. Some may say I don't learn, some may say I'm positive. PMA. I'm hiding my finger so bad. Look at it. It has broken to the point where it is painful. Anyway, this will fulfill a very specific prompt that I put on my bingo for this book. So there were a couple where I did that on purpose, but also it's really hard to find 25 prompts that would kind of fit with winter. So the prompt that I will be definitely using for this one is a dog on the cover, because look at this little guy. Is he a little Westie? I mean, there is also, I think, cinnamon buns on the porch. Is this a porch? I don't know. So I could technically use it for food here, but I feel like dog is going to be harder to fulfill, so I'm going to pick dog. I'm actually really excited to read this one. I will never learn. Okay, how many times have I said I want to read a book by Kirsty Logan? This might just be the month. Things We Say in the Dark by Kirsty Logan would fulfill Things We Say in the Dark, 5+ words in the title, but to be honest, I read the blurb, and I don't know if I've read the blurb before. I think I might have bought this when I saw it, on site if you will, because I already have This is Now She Is Witch, and I really like the sound of it. Still haven't read a book by Kirsty Logan, but we'll go on about her forever because she creates a beautiful cover and a very exciting premise. But this one is set in a remote house in Iceland. So I'm thinking that would fulfill my cold country prompt, which was a suggestion by my other half when I was really struggling to think of prompts. It's a good one, but it's a hard one. So that would fulfill that prompt, which would be quite difficult. But also remote house, the little illustration kind of looks like it could be a manor house. I don't know. I think for that one, I'm going to have to read it and suss out whether there is a manor house mentioned. But it is set in a cold country. So I think rather than the 5+ words in the title, because I'm reading The Sun and the Void anyway, I think this should fulfill my set in a cold country prompt. But I'm so excited to read it. Let me tell you what it's about. Alone in a remote house in Iceland, a woman is unnerved by her isolation. Another can only find respite from the clinging ghost that follows her by submerging herself in an overgrown pool. Couples wrestle with a lack of connection to their children. A schoolgirl becomes obsessed with the female anatomical models in a museum, and a cheery account of a child's day out is undercut by chilling footnotes. I'm sorry, is this? I didn't know this is short stories, and this sounds kind of spooky. Is this spooky short stories? Okay, so it would also fulfill the short stories prompt, but we've got plenty. I think I'm pretty confident that I'm going to use Set in a Cold Country for this one. These dark tales explore women's fears with electrifying honesty and invention and speak to one another about female bodies, domestic claustrophobia, desire and violence. Oh my god. Fans of Angela Carter and Shirley Jackson? Right. She's bumped up the list. I'm reading this in November. Okay, last on my hopefuls for November is kind of ambitious because I think it's already going to be quite a challenge, but I would actually quite like to finish The Glutton by A.K. Blakemore. This is naked. I have started reading it. I think I'm like 2 or 3 chapters in, but I put it down because I had to finish my August TBR. So this has been sitting on my current reads for a little while. I need to start again really, and I really would like to read it, and it is perfect for the food prompt. It would fit it so well, and I really want to read it. I just don't know if I'm going to have time. But it's going to get read in winter anyway. It's going to fulfill my food prompt. So I'm going to save that one, I think. I'm going to save that prompt until I'm ready to read this book. Let me tell you what it's about, shall I? I'm pretty sure this is based on, it doesn't say anywhere, but I am pretty confident this is based on the Greek myth of Erysichthon. Is that his name? Because he is cursed to eat and eat and eat, but never have his hunger satiated, and I'm pretty sure he ends up eating his own kid. The Wrath of Demeter. A king named Erysichthon plans to cut down a tree to be the central pillar for his feasting hall. The tree is sacred to Demeter, and as punishment she curses him so that no matter how much he eats, his hunger is never satisfied. But anyway, let's talk about the book instead. So, Sister Perpetua is not to move, she is not to fall asleep. She is to sit, keeping guard over the patient's room. She has heard the stories of his hunger, which defy belief, that he has eaten all manner of creatures and objects, a child even. You see? If the rumours are to be believed, but it is hard to believe that this slender, frail man is the one they call the great Tarare, the glutton of Lyon. This is obviously set in France, and I am drugs with the name. The 18th century is drawing to a close, unrest grips the heart of France, and life in the village is soon shaken. When a sudden act of violence sees Tarare cast out and left for dead, his ferocious appetite is ignited, and it is not long before his extraordinary abilities to eat make him a marvel throughout the land. I don't know if it's loosely based on the myth or whether it's not considered the myth whatsoever, but I'm very excited to read it. I've heard very good things, and I loved A.K. Blakemore's The Manningtree Witches. So I've got high hopes. It's a possibility for November, but I am hoping to get to it at least in the winter. So, I haven't actually looked at where those prompts sit on the bingo card. I might just go rogue and hope for the best. So they're the books I'm going to read. I don't know whether that will even help me anywhere near completing a row. So let me come closer and we will discuss together, okay? So I'm reading one with magic in. Wait, I definitely want to do the 5+ words in the title for The Sun and the Void, don't I? I'm doing the dog on the cover. Hey, this... and new release! Okay, I'm doing Cold Country. I have got a possibility for LGBT. I've got short stories. I've got magic. I've got food and book I've been wanting to read all year. possibility for Manor House, that's crazy. I swear that's unplanned. Unsure. I do want to read a book by Junji Ito, and that would obviously fulfill this manga, manhwa, graphic novel prompt. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to complete a row in the first month, but I'm hopeful that I will at least have some money to spend after winter is over. Well, when I get into February and my little challenge ends anyway. So there she is, my winter book bingo. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any recommendations for wintry books, for festive romances, I love a festive romance. Okay, I'm rarely a romance reader, but in winter, yeah, I want to see people kissing under a Christmas tree. Well, I want to read about it. I don't think I actually want to see it. Or if you know of any gothic wintry novels that are set in a manor house, let me know. Drop them in the comments down below. But otherwise, I'll catch you in a video very, very soon. Bye-bye!
Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to